Hello everybody, and the apple behind me is real sometimes. So today we're going to be going over calisthenics versus weightlifting. Now this is definitely one of the most controversial videos I've ever made, so if you could please refrain from being too political in the comments section. So anyway, in this video we're going to be taking an in-depth look at both calisthenics and weightlifting to find out which one's better for you. Now of course this is a matter of opinion. Calisthenics and weightlifting are both great, but the only way to find out which one's better for you is to understand both of them in depth. So by the end of this video you should be able to make a decision. Alright, so when it comes to weightlifting, you're going to be using equipment, benches, weights, emotional turmoil, things of that nature. However, in calisthenics, we're going to be taking away the fundamentals of weightlifting. That is, you're not going to have weights, you're not going to have benches, although you do still get to keep the emotional turmoil. And so now you might be thinking, well, how does somebody who's into calisthenics get a workout in if they don't have any weights? How are they supposed to progressively overload? And while that's a great question, it's not original. This is the main problem that the inventors of calisthenics first had to deal with when trying to popularize their workout programs and pre-workout supplements. However, it wasn't until Friedrich John came along and actually discovered that if you simply just do the movements but upside down, you can still progressively overload. And that is how the calisthenics that we know today was born. So given this little bit of history, we have our first make or break question as to whether or not you want to choose between calisthenics and weightlifting. Do you prefer to be upside right or upside down? In weightlifting, you have bench press. In calisthenics, you have upside down bench press. In weightlifting, you have squats, and in calisthenics, you have skipping leg day. In weightlifting, there are lateral raises, and in calisthenics, there are defying the laws of physics and gravity as we know it. And as you can see from these clips, calisthenics is basically just weightlifting but inverted. And overall, this just comes down to opinion, not whether one is better for muscle growth than the other. Alright, so the next make or break difference between calisthenics and weightlifting is the culture behind each one. What are the values? What are the habits? What are the mindsets of people who do calisthenics versus weightlifting? And now this is an important question because whichever one you decide is going to determine the kind of people that you surround yourself with. So let's get into weightlifting culture. Also known as gym bro culture, weightlifting culture is often regarded as one of the most supportive communities you can ever be a part of. 99% of people in that gym are there because they want to improve themselves, and they would just feel bad more than anything to see the people in their life that they love not do the same. Members of gym bro culture are most often extremely supportive and very welcoming of newcomers. After going to the gym consistently enough, you'll notice that people start approaching you and giving you fist bumps, telling you good job on your sets, whereby you might, respond with an awkward smile or heaven forbid you say something stupid like thank you. What you're actually supposed to do is apologize for being so stunningly attractive that you distracted them enough to make them come up to you and talk to you. Now, if that kind of gym bro culture sounds appealing to you, remember we still have calisthenics culture to go over. Although I will be honest, calisthenics culture is pretty much the same thing as gym bro culture. The major difference being that in calisthenics culture, you're not going to be going to a physical gym. And of course, since you're not going to be in a gym, there's also not going to be any people. And you're actually pretty much just going to be alone in your bedroom. Alright, so last but not least, we have our third major difference between calisthenics and weightlifting. And that is the influencers and overall the kinds of people that you can expect to look up to. In weightlifting, we have some of the greats. We have Arnold Schwarzenegger, we have Ronnie Coleman, we also have we also have Z's, we have Dorian Yates, pretty much every deity of every religion. We also got Athlean X. We also, sorry, there's a bug on my window. I'm gonna name him Christopher. Everyone say hi to Christopher. Anyway, let's take a look at calisthenics now. In calisthenics, we got this really cool dog doing some pull-ups. And last but not least, we have Chris Heria. Now, I personally love Chris Heria. The best way I can describe him is he's kind of like, "What's up, Chris Heria?" And that's pretty much all I got. And then he's like, "Today we're gonna be doing like 30 minutes of ab exercise." And he's probably the main reason that I want to get tattoos and become unemployable. Alright everybody, so that about does it for today's video. I hope that I've outlined the differences between weightlifting and calisthenics in a detailed enough way that you can finally make a decision as to which route that you want to go with. Make sure that no matter which decision you ultimately make, you have the means necessary to do it consistently enough that you actually make progress. Remember, if you don't look like Arnold Schwarzenegger after 2 weeks of doing curls, you're doing it wrong. And overall, just start working out. Don't worry about all the details beforehand. Make sure to like and subscribe, And also stay tuned for next week's video where I yell at rich people for having more money than me.